Some people don't fear arguments. They fear silence. A message left unread. A conversation that ends too early. A pause that stretches just a little too long. And suddenly, it doesn't feel neutral. It feels personal. If silence makes your chest tighten, your thoughts spiral, or your mind start filling in worst-case meanings. Psychology says you're not overreacting. Your nervous system learned that silence isn't safe. People who take silence personally aren't needy or dramatic. They're responding to a pattern their brain recognizes. A pattern where quiet once meant distance, withdrawal, or loss. Let's break down what psychology reveals about why silence can feel like rejection, even when it isn't. Emotional withdrawal. For some people, silence doesn't register as space. It registers as disappearance. Psychology links this to early emotional inconsistency. When connection was unpredictable, the brain learned to scan for absence. So when communication stops, the nervous system reacts. The amygdala, the brain's threat detector, lights up. Heart rate increases. Thoughts race. Not because something bad is happening, but because the brain expects something bad to happen. Silence becomes a signal that love, safety, or connection might be fading. Silence triggers meaning-making loops. When someone is sensitive to silence, their brain hates unfinished emotional moments. So it fills the gap. Psychology calls this negative interpretation bias. The mind starts asking, did I say something wrong? Are they upset? Am I being ignored? The longer the silence lasts, the louder these thoughts get. Not because the person lacks confidence, but because their brain learned that quiet often came before emotional loss. Silence feels personal because the brain turns absence into explanation. Losing emotional ground. For people with this pattern, silence doesn't feel calm. It feels unresolved. Their nervous system believes, if I don't hear back, I'm being left behind. So they reread messages, feel the urge to explain or clarify, struggle to let conversations end unfinished. Psychology links this to emotional safety tied to responsiveness. When reassurance was inconsistent in the past, the brain learned to equate response with security. Silence isn't peaceful. It feels like standing on unstable ground. Here's what psychology makes clear. People who take silence personally aren't weak. They're deeply attuned to connection. Their brain learned that silence once carried meaning, so now it listens closely. But healing begins when the nervous system learns this truth. Silence isn't always rejection. Distance isn't always abandonment. And quiet doesn't erase your value. Peace comes when you stop chasing reassurance and start trusting your presence doesn't disappear in the quiet. If this felt uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone and you're not broken. Subscribe to the Human Circle. We explore the psychology behind behaviors people judge, but rarely understand. The next video might help you feel safe, even when the room goes quiet.